already got it yesterday.
I sent it out.
Mhm.
I know today.
Oh, it's hiding.
All right, here we go. We're recording.
We'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Do you have a roll call already?
I've got everybody except I wasn't sure who the audience, I can't remember the audience member's name, who's next to Carrie.
No.
Thank you.
I have a motion to accept the previous minutes.
Make a motion to accept the previous minutes.
Second. Any discussion, anything? I'll just say that, thank you, you did a good job. Appreciate it. All in favor? Like unanimous. Any fundraising update?
I don't, I'm traveling too much. I need to
I
stop.
can say the tan is nice.
I know.
It's like get to work.
I'm home for a month. I'll do some this week.
Building acquisition update. This is gonna be interesting. The town of Holland has had 2 workshops. I guess they were open to the public. But we've had no communication from the town of Holland, either directly or indirectly. They've got our proposal and there's nothing been said to us. When Jeff and I brought the proposal to the Holland Select Board, they wanted to do a workshop, or they didn't say two, a workshop, and then a joint one to give us a counter proposal. We haven't seen that. So with that being said, I'm not sure I'm not confident, but I'm not confident that, since there's been no communication, like everyone else, you can think of the worst case scenario. So with that being said, just another update. A Holland landowner offered us land in anticipation or with the potential if we need to build a new station. They came forth and said they'd donate some land, which was very generous. And once that happened, I started to think about it and said to myself, as much as that would be great, I think we need to look more geographic. If we got compelled to do that, we should be more geographically centered in the district. So what I would like to ask of the board, not by vote, not by motion, but just ask the board, would it be okay if Josh and I explored throughout the district for any land that would be available in case we came to that eventuality?
I agree with that.
You do?
Yeah, it doesn't, it's not gonna cost us anything.
Nope.
Don't worry about it, sets a tone or a precedent maybe, but I personally don't mind that either,
Mhm.
Yeah, we have to be more serious.
Well, I won't say anything else. Anybody else have any comments or questions about that? One of the reasons I think it's prudent to do it, because as directors, we have a responsibility to 8 towns and 2 counties. We represent, close to 5,000 people, 40, how many, Josh? 4,800? Yeah. And we represent all of them. So it would not be responsible of us not to the old saying, like, hope for the best and plan for the worst. I think we need to do that.
I guess I would not throw that offer away totally for all of the people.
Sure. Oh, no,
That's a pretty big gap.
Yeah, it was given, it was done in, good faith and trying to at least give us an option. And it's on, as far as I'm concerned, it's on the table and it will stay on the table. But if we could find something that would be more central, that would make it easier for, on the equipment, if you would, back and forth and calls, it would be prudent to do that potentially too. With that being said, I just want, oh yeah, sure.
What's the acreage you'd be looking? 5?
That's my guess.
5 to 10 probably, because one of the things that it would be, and like you talked about, why would we want more land than that?
We have a training facility that still is on the town of Howland land on Lagoon Lane. And to date, we haven't been told that we can't use it. But I think that we overlooked that with our contract and so forth. I know I did. So I'm not sure that that'll be available to us forever. And where we have to hire people that have no experience, it's really important when we hire somebody that we get them initial training so that we can start to utilize them on shift until we can send them to formal training. So we can cover what the state says the minimum is for them to operate on a fire ground. There's many things that they can't do, but it gives us the minimum. So that's why we have our own burn building. We've got some bailout props there. We've got some, which is like jumping out of a window type of thing. So rescue type situations. We have a roof ventilator prop. We get cars donated from Steve Robinson for no money for us to do auto extrication training. And Public Works has been great. When we need stuff moved, they'll come down and move for us. If we want a car flipped upside down, so we can practice on that. I'm just not confident that that'll always be there. And quite frankly, if I can elaborate a little bit on the station location, when we talked about setting this district up, Matthew often talked about heat maps, and a heat map would be where is your population and call volume. So this is a good location for the fire station for this area, being on the main thruway and so forth. But there's not to say that there isn't a better location if we use said heat map. So we talked about that in the very beginning, that we may not be here. So.
And I guess two things. It would be the best for all the towns and the district if we could stay here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here, the building was built for this purpose, and that would be the best case scenario. But if that scenario doesn't play out, we have to do something else. And one of the things that I said in an Enfield select board meeting a while back when they asked questions like about the proposal that we made was that we have to look for long-term viability and stability. Those are the two things we need. Well, three things. Then we have to have a stable professional workforce. And I think with the folks we have here now as a base that we are in good shape there. But we need to be able to stabilize the cost. And the other thing that I was thinking about this earlier today and actually talking with Jeff about it is that we're all in this together. Every town, every one of us is in this together. We're all taxpayers of our respective towns. And the thing that we have to remember is that this is a service that benefits all of us all the time. You may not think of that, and maybe we do, but maybe not many of our citizens think of it that way until they need us. And I want to make sure that we're here when the need arises. So it's just important to know that we're all in this together, and hopefully it will work out for the best case scenario with Holland, but we can't take the chance. We have to have at least a plan, because I think it's our responsibility to do that. Yep.
Just a little information. I've tried to talk to as many people as I can in my area
Mhm.
now. Hasn't meant a lot. It depends on the scene, Lincoln, do like that. And I would say that people I've talked to, majority doesn't feel it's a good idea to buy a building.
Yeah.
But they do feel it's a good idea to have some sort of a long-term lease so that we know going into the future, we're going to have that stability, that it's not going to be upset or, it's going to be blindsided with a big additional cost for whatever reason. I think, and we owe it to people at least.
Yep, and it's interesting because I got some feedback from the first Holland meeting that they went on for quite a bit of time talking about how we couldn't assume the bond or we couldn't buy it. I don't know why they took their time to do that, because right in the meeting, Jeff and I said, yeah, you were there. We just said, we'll take that off the table. That was an academic exercise, but it's not on the table. So I don't know what that's all about. But I think as we talk about this, it's good to remember that that the proposal is lease to purchase. So that at the end of, because the proposal says at the end of the 27-year bond, that we take ownership of the building for $1 of not the building, the entire ground, this plot of land with the town, with this building on it. So the good news is if we can accomplish that at the end of 27 years, the cost to the district goes way down. It goes down by nearly $250,000 a year. Yeah, for everybody. So, but that we will explore. We're still up in the air with the new internet with GoNet speed. I talked to I guess it would be an IT engineer about it. Come to find out, one of the things we thought we had to do was separate all. I mean, there's a room over there that has lots of wires in it, and it was thought that we had to make sure that the town had their service and we had ours. And there was a quote that came back to us for $5,000, actually $8,000, between 5 and 8 to do that work. And when I spoke to the gentleman that Howland actually went with, another company, come to find out that had been done 1.5 years ago. But we didn't know that. So just so you know that we're still working towards that. We will eventually go net speed. I think they were out here about a week ago. I thought the lines would buy, but they may not have been. So it looks like sometime probably in the next 30 days we'll accomplish that. Budget considerations. Anything new in the budget?
No, we can review the expenses and the in our revenue.
Yeah. I have a question though before we do that. Mike, I noticed, because I admit that I'm on Facebook sometime, but the town of Lowell posted your articles, and there was an article, the last article is the article funding the district, and the recommendation from the selectmen says to conduct a discussion to determine the town's views on membership in Central Maine Highland Fire and EMS and the district assessment. Can you tell me what that means?
Well, it was just basically an offhand meeting to discuss that. As far as cost, I think that really comes down.
Well, I understand cost and that'd be an educational one, but how about membership? Is there a,
We didn't discuss anything about membership.
okay, just curious, because that would be an interesting conversation. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get to it next meeting,
get to
this question.
the membership question.
Membership question, yeah.
So is there sentiment in Lowell to question the membership?
Yeah.
Okay,
A slight one, I guess.
it's what?
Slight, but yes.
Okay. Just curious, because, I mean, that's something that we'd have to face as a group. What that would mean and how it would work.
I'll pass that along.
I guess maybe next month we'll ask you how it went. Josh, you anything on retention and recruitment?
No, I mean, we've addressed things within this budget that will assist with that.
Yeah.
We're gaining traction each year.
Well, I can tell you from my time around the station that the 3 new employees they're engaged for sure. So as we go forward, I mean, looking to sometime after the 1st of July, looking to add 4 more, that'll be huge. So want to go into more budget stuff now?
Sure. So we can kind of all, so this is the expenses. This is the profit and loss report that comes out of QuickBooks. I just cleaned it up a little bit. I'm sorry, we could not get this to print tonight.
Can you post that afterwards?
Yeah. I mean, the number that really matters, I've only got through the end of February because that was the last month that was closed or that we've kind of finished out of. So March doesn't have a lot of stuff in there right now, but So the number that matters, I mean, we're at $2 million of expenses and we budgeted. Last year we budgeted 3.13. So we've got 4 months left and we're about 2/3 of the way. And I think right now we're looking really good to hit our budget number. We might come in, I was thinking when I was doing the math, we're gonna come in under maybe $40,000 or $50,000 if everything stays consistent. And right now I'll show you the revenue a little bit, but I'll go back and the other thing we've done. So we did go back in because one of the things we were wanting to do is be able to see overtime. So we did go back through all the payroll and we keyed in all the hours, all the where the hours are, whether it's comp time, shift hours, which is normal shift, holiday. So you can actually see the, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
Just take your pointer out of there.
So, so this is July, but you can actually see now overtime, whereas before we just had it all rolled up into into payroll. So now we're actually just able to see some more fine details of, that's what we're really trying to get to. So we can see all the details of where all the payroll, because payroll is such a big expense. It's 2/3 of our cost. So now we'll be able to see breaking it down. And what we're hoping to see with next year, with adding the 4 new employees, is we're hoping to see these overtime numbers drop significantly. So that's part of the plan. If we add 4 new employees, 1 person per shift, when we have someone out, that we won't have to backfill overtime. So right now, if someone's out, we're bringing someone in on overtime. So that's why we're seeing these overtime hours, or if there's a fire call or things like that. So, yeah,
So I understand, we're gonna have 5-man shift.
5-man shift plus the 2 chiefs. So
Someone goes on vacation, we're not gonna fill that 5th slot. That's the plan.
I think that's the plan. So we're hoping we'll see a significant drop in our overtime. Because that's how we're trying to budget. We figured if we put in the 4 new employees, we'll see a drop in the overtime and that'll help. Plus with the other employees, if I speak out of turn, Josh, correct me. We'd also be able to see by having that other employee, we should be able to start trying to capture some more revenue. And we're actually seeing, I'll show that in a minute, that revenues actually are tending up. So that's a good thing, I think now.
The number of people you're gonna let off at any one time, is that gonna change, chief, because of the 4 new employees?
No, right now I only let 1 out at a time, vacation per shift. So that'll be a constant. I can't control sick call outs, and I'm not gonna cancel the vacation if somebody calls out sick. The class thing will always be a thing, but if we had 5 on and somebody has to go to class, we'll drop back to 4. So, yeah.
So let's see. So this was a line that we increased in the budget, was the repair and maintenance. You can see we're already at 113% and we still got 4 months to go. So that's why we jumped that line. So we're starting able to see why we're putting money where we are in the budget because of what's happening right now.
And that's a function of an old fleet. Essentially, I mean, in the replacement plan, do you want to talk about that right now? And just on that line, what a plan we might have for the not too distant future?
Sure. Yeah. So the newest fire vehicle that we have is the tanker truck that we acquired from Passadumkeag. That's a 2009. So it makes sense if you think of who runs a vehicle in Maine for more than 20 years. Well, we do with our emergency vehicles. So there's direct cost to that to keep them on par. We can't just patch things up and wait till the next budget. They have to be top notch, ready to go all the time. So that's the newest fire truck we have. The oldest is one of the other tankers and the ladder. The ladder's a 95, that tanker's a 95. So what I'd like to do to drop maintenance cost is our lead engine is a 2002. That tanker's a 1995. The engine carries 750 gallons of water and the tanker carries 2,500 gallons. if I can buy one truck that will do both functions. So if it has more water, but the same cabinetry for our rescue equipment, I could get rid of a vehicle. I need a certain amount of water within this building. And having the apparatus we have now, we're able to do that. So if I could replace with a used pump or tanker, get rid of two of the trucks, two of the older trucks, because the next engine's a 2006. So anyhow, when we get these 3 new ambulances, whenever this kicks off, the 18 to 24 months to get them, that would give us an open bay on the ambulance side. So we could put all 4 ambulances in the undercover instead of leaving one outside like we do as a reserve piece. So it would be better to have it in the building undercover. So that was where my mind went.
When Josh brought this up to me a while back, one of the ways to defray the cost would be to sell two of the, whatever the market for it is. But, at some point in time, we're gonna have to spend that money because you can't, it becomes not feasible to keep throwing money into an older truck. I mean, if you look at right now, we're at 113% already, and we still have
4 months ago.
4 months to go. It takes, as Josh said, it's not like you can put it off and say, oh, we're not gonna do that now. Because if you need the vehicle, you need to go and it needs to work. So by upgrading, this would be a first step in that process. And I don't think it'll happen this year unless some emergency came up, but it's something we probably need to think about it for next year and the next couple of years to come, to try to upgrade the fleet so that we're not driving around 20-year-old vehicles that could or could not work at some point in time, or just that's the month.
Even when we were under the town of Howland, we knew that we probably weren't going to be able to budget enough at the rate that the fire trucks were increasing of cost versus what we were able to put away. It became very apparent with the fleet that we had that we were not going to be able to probably ever buy a new vehicle. So with that being said, we made it known to the public that if we're not buying new vehicles, you're just going to see me more often coming in to ask for replacement. So they need to understand that it's not us wanting something shiny and new. It's that what we have is old.
It's aging up.
And so it's expensive to maintain. So it's one of those things that we need to get used to. Okay, we need to try to keep that mean age of the fleet up. Well, the only way to do that, if you're not budgeting to replace them at 20 years old and get them out of here, is we need to buy more often.
Right.
And to continue to try to get that mean age up, because I think that it'll be a direct correlation with your maintenance line. So.
And as I think about that, oh, I'm sorry.
Who owns the vehicles?
Right now, we are leasing them.
Right. How does that work?
Well, we'll have a suggestion about that in about 2 months.
Okay.
Well, the ambulance, or no, the ladder truck.
The ladder truck is ours.
And the town gave us permission to sell it, and
They gave us permission to sell it, so they could technically give us permission, but I've got a plan for later this year that might make sense.
Is there any market for these two that we're getting rid of?
They'll
Those
sell.
old-
I can't tell you that they'll sell for good money is the
Yeah.
issue because of their age.
And the other thing that is talking about the budget, I was talking with the town manager in Enfield today, and I just bounced and asked her a question. The money we have in vehicle reserve, there's no reason why this year we could, like, we're gonna buy another ambulance and we're gonna probably finance it, to take the payments from vehicle reserve rather than taking it out of a line item. We'd have to, I don't know if I probably think we have to make a motion to do that. But that's one way of reducing the cost in the budget and using some of that money that way. It may not be the greatest idea, but it was an idea. Anything else?
Can we keep going?
Yep.
So, well, that's, another thing you said to me today was the, EMS ambulance supplies, which is the,
Yeah.
so
It's,
you're,
it's not premature, but, hey, Ben, this is one that you don't talk about this one, please. It's about security and drugs and stuff.
Oh, yeah. we talked about that.
Okay. And I appreciate the way you wrote the last one you did. So we're in a position where things are going to change in how we have to acquire drugs. The DEA has made a new law, there's a new ruling out, and we're gonna have to do something different. And inside of all that, because of my past life, I talked with Josh and asked if there are things called group purchasing organizations. And if you've been in town governments, you probably know of other MMA has group purchasing stuff. Well, I found a company out of Minnesota that is a group purchasing organization. Contacted them yesterday, talked with them, asked Josh to fill out a registration form. We now have an account with them. And this morning I talked with one of their vendors who has contracts for pharmaceuticals and ambulance supplies. And I think they just answered me back and I gave them a shipping number. They've already given us an account number and we have a $50,000 line of credit because we're a municipality. So we need no credit check, no nothing. So what that can accomplish potentially is when I talk with them, right now, all the supplies we buy for ambulance supplies for, and you can name them better than I can, and all the drugs, we're buying them probably higher than retail. There is no such thing as retail for those things, but we're buying them from a secondary vendor who buys them from a vendor, takes them in bulk, sells them for more money, they make money. And they're the third middleman in the operation. And the company that I talked with today, their book of business offers a 30% off their wholesale price for this particular group purchasing organization. So it may, and I'm sure they'll have probably most of it. And there's another vendor that I used to actually work for that's on contract too that would have everything. So if we can access, and we can access those contracts, price them out, and then buy these not only the drugs but the ambulance supplies, everything that goes with a patient, we should be able to save. Excuse me, we should be able to save some money.
Do we still get licensed?
What's that?
Do we still get licensed to the 88?
Oh, yeah, the DEA is gonna make us get licensed, and that's gonna cost us probably about $888 per year or every 2 years. And then there may be a state license because the state's gonna have to license it, so there'll be another license fee that isn't even existing yet, but it will be. But the good news is it prompted me to think like, okay, from my old world, there's gotta be a better way of getting these supplies. And I think there is. So once I looked at that, next month, I may be able to say, we may be able to take that line and reduce it somewhat because we're going to be buying it in a different way. So that's that. And the other one, I don't think I told you, but the cardiac monitors we have are made by Zoll. They are a vendor with this organization, so we can look and see if their price is better than the price we're been quoted. So there's a possibility. I know it's not big bucks, but it's savings.
anything helps. With the $888 federal DEA license, that's already in the budget. So the numbers that we looked at last, that included that in
Yeah,
there.
because we knew it was coming.
Yeah, so they told us that like 3 days before we talked about the budget. So the medical supplies are up 100, we're at 113% with 4 months to go. We did increase that in the budget. I haven't touched the budget numbers from what we discussed last in public, so nothing's changed there at all. But we could see some savings there.
I'm thinking we're gonna see savings. I just don't know how big it's gonna be.
And we did have in the budget the money for the ambulance.
Hard to know until we
Yeah.
purchase a year's worth of supplies.
Well, I think what we can do is if you give me what we have, we can look back at gross numbers and price it out and then extrapolate and say,
Yeah.
if we save money, it's a deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do know when I presented the budget to Howland, at the end of February, one of the questions that was brought to me was, could we take money out of reserve to offset some things? And I said, yes, we can, but I think because we're still such a new organization, it's still too early to do that. That's my opinion. So, but I'm one of 10. So, but anyway, that's, yes, we could take money out of reserves at times, but we just need to be cognizant of, or at least aware of what we're trying to
If
accomplish.
we get capital reserves to where they need to be.
Yeah.
Then absolutely, we should. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But
I think I track with you that I'm nervous to say,
Yeah.
to plan on having to use reserves for that, because then that A, defeats the purpose of reserve. And B, we are such a young organization that we don't, yes, we have years that Josh has done great tracking for while it was part of Holland, but we are such a young organization on our own that those curveballs and left field expenses could really sink us if we're not careful with our reserves.
Yep.
I want to I'm trying to share this into the meeting. I know we're all sitting here, but it's recording it for us. So where I was wanting to go is, so we're at $2 million so far. We got 4 months to go, which is going to be a third. If everything holds true, we'll be at about $3 million. We budgeted 3.1. If I switch over here real quick, we budgeted 3.1. So if everything holds true, we're going to come in under budget. We'll say right now it's projected at 130, but I'd rather say right now I feel comfortable saying we're going to come in under budget, but we still got 4 months. The other thing, let me show you the profit and loss, or the revenue. So right now we increased our, the accounts receivable went up about $26,000 from January to February. But our monthly average revenue right now through the end of February is $90,000 a month. So if you extrapolate that out for the year, we're going to hit $1,080,000. So that's $80,000 more than what we budgeted. So we're on the good side of both the expenses and the revenue. So if everything holds true, I think we're gonna end with about 100 and I feel safe saying 100,000, but I know we still got 4 months to go. So it's nice to sit here right now and kind of feel a little bit of comfort. But and I know in the budget last year we did have some things, so we might end the year in a really good place. So but
I just wanted to say one thing. The only reason that the revenue is higher is that the folks downstairs are working like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I think one day last week I was around and they had done 4 transfers that day.
Last week, there was a day I was here 21 hours.
Yeah.
They ran from 7 a.m. to 5 a.m. the next day, nonstop.
Transfers all day and all night.
Mm-hmm.
I came in one morning, or I came in 3 mornings last week, but I came in one morning and I looked at them and I went, yowza. I wish everybody could see how tired you look, because running a 24-hour day, working the whole day ain't easy. And when they're running that many transfers, they're on the road.
And with the possibility of being called back the next day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, one day I came in and I was like, "You were here yesterday." He said, "Yeah, I just got called back in." So they were, that was paramedic. He was back in for most of the day again on a double. So if you see them, say thank you, because they're working.
Every time they're at PVH, and it was a lot last week, that darn full moon.
Yeah. No, but it's not easy in what they do. And as I said at a meeting in Enfield last week, if we didn't have transfers, another $1.2 million would be on the table to the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's huge. And it's also, Josh has educated me, it's not normal, because there are paramedics. 2 things, it's not normal. There are paramedics that won't come work here because they have to do hospital transfers, because that's like, we don't want to do that. And number 2, our paramedics are all cross-trained as firefighters, and there's some stations that are paramedic only that don't do firefighting work. So we are incredibly blessed to have this crew that we have. So
Your system that's set up is very unique.
yeah, very unique.
Compared to all the others. Yeah.
And it's very conducive to what we're doing. Because if it wasn't unique, it would be more expensive by far. So when you see them, say thank you.
And then not only that, but I think it makes it far better. EMS person.
Oh, yeah.
Having those transfers.
Yeah, they-
See a lot more sick people.
Yep.
A lot more situations.
Well, the thing is that there would be transfers if we didn't have paramedics, and that's one of the reasons we want to bring them on, that we can't do because it's a paramedic level transfer. It's easy when they're going from PVH to a nursing home, where they're going but when they're going PVH to either, EMMC or maybe Lewiston or maybe Portland, because they need that level of care, that's a long ride and a lot of work. So,
You were a lot of work for me.
for me. It wasn't. I don't know, but didn't seem like a lot of work. It was a bumpy ride though.
But I'll save all these documents and I'll send them out. John's got another question.
I'm sorry.
This isn't on the agenda, but it kind of is on. Should we, I don't know, in the beginning we talked about it, but should we be looking at I know Jeff did a great job, but should we be looking at a bookkeeper? Take some of this. Handle it.
Well, I said from the beginning that it wouldn't be bad to have it like a part-time administrative assistant.
You sort of have one.
Yeah, we kind of do though, and we should probably send Doug a thank you note.
Yeah.
Because Michelle does. Michelle, is it after them?
Yeah, she has started putting everything into QuickBooks so that when I don't have to. Yeah,
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she's
just feel
doing
that, these fellows can be used for something.
I was gonna say, much more valuable time than doing this, but, and it's a great question. And maybe next year it comes to a point that it's something that we need more, that we can maybe budget in. But right now, she's doing a great job and it's because Doug allows her to do that and gives her up to us for that.
She's been very helpful on helping us making sure we can track from the expenses into the budget. So setting up all the accounts, she's been, very, very
Yeah.
helpful. I mean, I'm not an accountant. I mean, I worked with it a lot, but I'm not an accountant and she's helped me understand a lot of things too. So it's been very helpful.
A great asset, so.
Yep.
A volunteer of sorts. I mean, she's still doing it, but allows it to happen, so. That's a good one. Any other questions about any of that? Or we want to do something else? Are you okay with,
Yeah. If you guys,
finances?
yeah.
Unless
there was any other questions.
Go in a minute. We need to make a motion. I got an email from Mike Kelly from the China Savings Bank on our line of credit. A line of credit is good for 1 year, and we have to say we want a line of credit for another year. We didn't use it. We had it in abeyance. We had some, we put it back in. We own nothing on it now. But I would like to make a motion that we continue for another 364 days with Machina Savings Bank with the line of credit. Second, any discussion? Can you make sure that writes up and I'll send him the minutes? All in favor?
We had a discussion still.
Do we know on top of it what that cost us?
I think
last year was 500, but I don't know if there was a fee this year.
yeah, it's gonna be $500 every year. And then the interest on it. And we did pay some interest last year, but we really needed the buffer there in case the end of the year came and we were in trouble. So right now, there's nothing outstanding. Once we send the minutes in, I think they'll charge us another $500. It's their way of like money sitting there for us to use. But it's a great
Safety net.
yeah, it's a great, no, I was gonna say a line of safety blanket. Yeah, really. So now all in favor?
Yeah.
No opposed? Thank you very much. I've got on the next piece of new businesses, and I think it's been taken care of. You have email access now, right?
Yes, I do.
And you have email access, and the email passwords were changed, correct? They weren't.
Not until I can get both of them in here.
Okay, so before you leave tonight, if you would
So that I don't have to
fight it.
text it. Find it.
Yeah. If you could take a moment before you leave to go with Cody to change the password, because one of the things we need to probably put in place is a security process for when a director switches out. everything we do is public, but we have documents and things that, they're public, but they're in the background. And, you have the right to all of that, and you have the right to all of that.
I think there was I'm getting, I believe most everything. I've been a recent to that, talked to that I did,
Like when I sent out the minutes this time, the draft.
yeah. I got that.
Yeah, then he should be getting it, yeah. Every alternate from every town, if you, and I guess, let's just make sure. I know you have an alternate.
Gina.
Yep, you have an alternate, right? There, you have one? You have one? And you have, well, yeah, it's you and George. So yeah, everyone has an alternate.
I don't.
You don't?
I
You don't
at
right
the
now,
moment. I don't at the moment.
at the moment, but kind of do, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What is your alternate's last name? Mike who? Van Alsten? Van Alsten, okay, thank you.
so, so if a director switches, turns over, as it happened in Howland, we should have a procedure where you get an email, you get access to it, but the email, the password gets changed.
Oh.
Just-
Do we need to have a policy that we need to have review PHI? Do we need a PHI signature every year?
Protect, I don't know. We probably,
I almost think we do. Because when I was at the hospital, I think I remember having to sign one every
every
year.
year.
Yeah, like a reminder, like there's,
What do you,
I can give you my policy and you can do a sign of acknowledgement that you have read in.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that's what you choose.
I know we
Or
don't,
you can write
we
your-
don't typically send it. I don't think I've ever seen an email with any PHI information in it.
there should be never one.
No.
No, but you have access to it on the drive.
Yeah.
So,
There's stuff that
Yeah.
you have access
Right.
to,
Yeah,
and there's
so-
times that there's potential.
Yeah, there is potential.
Yeah.
So we probably should draft up we'll take your.
we should take it. Yeah,
Take the policy, mail it out.
we could do it
Can
electronic
you do it like-
signatures.
Can that be done electronically? Yeah, so, which leads me to the next one. Thank you. I sent out an email the other day that we have warrants that are not fully signed.
Mhm.
So I would ask each of you whether you think you did it or not. And you did today, thank you very much. Go into your emails and look for the emails that Cody sent or Josh sent out for the weekly warrants. And make sure there's 6 signatures, and if you're not one of the 6, sign it.
Can I ask? I have an alternate who is fairly active on email address. And so like both of us, like he's going on and reading stuff. And so what happens is when we're both on there, is that sometimes
away.
they end up in like the red deleted.
Yeah,
And I don't know, but he didn't sign, he's not like maliciously not signing them. And I'm not trying to throw George under the bus, but like, that's how I'm finding that I'm missing them is they're like they're not even way down in the inbox. I'm finding them in the deleted box. And so I'm working on with George on that piece. But I'm also wondering if even just having a running, not a signature email, but just having a running like table somewhere in the drive that says, these are the ones that still have outstanding. These ones are not fully signed. Just say, and then like, once they are signed, take them off that list so that people know to go back. Like when I'm looking through how many people have signed, trying to find the right one is sometimes hard.
Let me see if there's a way. I'm wondering if there's a way to
there's a guy
track.
in Holland who doesn't sign a lot.
Someone's on vacation.
I'm wondering if there's a way to track signatures and do just that.
Yeah,
what I
that's what
don't-
I'm wondering. if
What
it's
I
just
don't
a
want to
way
do is I don't want to give them any more work.
No,
No,
I,
no,
that's what I, like,
Yeah.
I just
So
don't know if there's a way
basically,
to make
I
it
think-
easier. That's like not
Yeah,
making more work. of trying to track us
that's a
down.
different one. If you can work with George and ask him, don't do that. I'm sure he will. But know that between Tuesday and Thursday, if you don't check your email any other time, check your email.
Mhm.
Because that warrant's gonna be there. And what we don't want to do is come to next August
Yeah.
and have a deficiency in our audit because we're not signing the
Right.
warrants, because the checks are going out.
Mhm.
Because if we waited for the signatures,
We had that happen.
yeah, we had that happen early on. That's why we went to this one. We've got to pay.
Should we go back to text,
No,
not the warrant, but just, we need 3 more signatures. That seemed to work pretty good.
except that means somebody has to look and see that this, I mean, because I typically sign pretty early and I don't go back and look.
Right.
So, and then you get this multiple text crap that goes, so I think it's just, if there's 7 signatures or 8 signatures, it's okay.
Mhm.
But between Tuesday and Thursday, please look up and check your email as the primary director and sign it, review it and sign it. Because the last thing I want to do is have a bad audit next year, because at some point in time, we might need money. And if we've had bad audits, we ain't gonna get it.
That brings me to my next question.
Oh, hi.
Did you get an audit this year? Anybody followed up on that at all?
Haven't heard.
I know there's other towns that are 2 years out, 3 years out. What we take 4 weeks, we're done.
They did finally stop asking for stuff, so there's that. Well, to say anything repetitively, so maybe we're getting something.
Maybe send Jim Morgan's office an email.
I won't call him tomorrow because tomorrow I'm not gonna have time, but I will call Monday morning and say, hi. How's it going?
Tomorrow if you want, though.
Yeah, if you want, fine, yeah, give a call. Don't hurt him.
Don't make them angry. We don't want them to drop us.
Yeah. But basically, just, is there an ETA? Because the board is asking. Especially your dad. Just kidding,
I'm
John.
used to that. But we're pretty fortunate, that like I say, I was 4 weeks, we had it passed.
And I think, and I don't know what this is a factor of, except from what we talked about before, there's not a lot of auditors, there's a lot of people needing audits, so I have no idea. So probably should you, that should be a board. I'm just thinking, I'll draw up a policy that says, you know, when a board director resigns or is replaced,
That'd be
it's got to have
fine documents with pending.
a new password assigned to
Like with
that
less than
account.
6 signatures, like they have to be able to filter it.
It'll-
I'm sure, I bet I
No, the
can,
bylaws
I can write a
are pretty good. We
program.
should
to
have
do
Yeah,
it.
sorry, that's what
The
I
board
said.
can have
It's
policies,
gotta be
yeah.
open.
And I'll bring the policy next month to that effect, and then we'll do that. So, so I'd ask you and Carrie, before you go downstairs with, Cody and get a new password. And then sign in so you know you're in. Is there any other new business? Now's the time. Any public comments? Questions? Oh, there's a guy with a red shirt. Yes, sir.
It's been here forever.
Good evening, everybody. Matthew McIntyre speaking, representative of Global, not as a representative. Applauding your strategic market research in terms of looking for land. I think that's a smart thing to do. Finds you to nothing and lets you know what's out there. As to the projected, hopefully, plus, just I would urge you to be mindful of the fluctuations in fuel prices right now.
Oh, yeah.
Gobble it up pretty quick.
Yep.
And then, congratulations on your success with your first application to the congressionally directed spending. I heard the discussion about potential new trucks. Don't be afraid to ask again. The answer is always no to the question, don't ask. It's a fierce competition every year, but don't be afraid to apply again and again and again. That is open to everybody. It's a little.
I think that's probably a good reminder because the answer may be no, but it's not no until you ask.
I would think that.
Did we already miss
good
this
running
year?
track record.
Did we miss this year?
Yeah,
It's
it's
already?
fast this year, I would imagine.
I can't answer that, but it never hurts to check.
I will check.
That's for new fire trucks
Yeah, there you go.
or new fire station.
She built 2 of them.
Yeah, no comment. Yeah, she did in towns that don't have fire stations. Anyway, any other comments or questions? Well, Lynch, you got one?
I do.
Go for it.
Just brought this up a long time ago.
Uh-oh.
Go back, it was during the summer or spring. We had a wet season, driveways were soft. We got called a fire alarm in the town of Lowell, and one of the fire trucks went down what they thought was the right road to get to this resident, ended up not being the right residence. The road is poorly marked. I talked with Brian, the signs have been stolen. So the truck on the way back out of this dirt road got stuck and rutted the guy's ditch. And we had to have the truck towed out so that we wouldn't damage it. I decided not to try to pull it. So we had it towed out. We had the event written up. We reviewed the event with the entire department, as we do with everything. And at that time, there was somebody at the home. So I thought everything was good because the individual that was driving the truck talked to whoever was there. Well, it wasn't the homeowner. So I met the homeowner. Months later, he showed up here ugly. So we had to make it right. So I was going to have to fix his driveway. So I reached out to a local contractor that does work in Lowell and Burlington and asked for a quote to go fix the ditch because the truck went down into the ditch and made the ditch deeper than other parts of the ditch.
Oh.
So anyhow, the company went and fixed it at no cost to us.
Oh.
The same company has done many things for this fire department in places that we needed sand to get to building fires, that there was nobody to sand, and I've never received a bill. So I don't believe that they want me to say the name, but I think that you can all surmise who it was. Big supporter of this fire department, and I should have recognized them long before now. I just keep forgetting, but they did us a strong favor because I'm sure that it would have been expensive to ditch that out, put a little hard material in, whatever he had to do. But I haven't seen a bill. And when I asked him, he said, "What bill?" So
Whoever that was, thank you, for sure. And,
he may or may not be an alternate.
I think you had it nailed a little while ago.
But then I just added that a little bit. I talked to that particular contractor. And I know he's told Josh, I'm sure, but doesn't matter where it is. Those towns that they serve or towns around them, if Josh calls and said, I need help getting in there, they'll come. That's pretty huge.
Well, it's A, neighborly, but B, it's also very gracious of them to be that helpful.
MG, great.
What's that?
MG, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, you said it earlier, and I think everybody needs to take a breath. Folks that are mad at us or angry with their price, everybody's got to remember, we're all in this together. I don't think there's a person sitting at this table that likes our cost.
No.
I got two chiefs sitting here that don't like the cost. I mean,
It's out of my control.
yeah. So just everybody, when you're talking in the public, just remind people, no, none of us like this, but we're doing the best we can to make sure we continue to provide the best service that we can afford to provide. So anyway,
I was gonna say, I almost wish we'd have been called Central Maine Highlands EMS and Fire. Because what's the ratio? 4-1?
It's 1,350 EMS and 225.
That's huge. I mean, property can be replaced, but someone's life can't be replaced. When the public needs EMS services, they're not thinking of the cost. They call 911, they want help. And I can tell you that from my time with these folks, I can't believe there's a whole bunch that are any better.
We're an ambulance department that goes to
goes
fires
to fire.
and auto accidents and water rescues
Yeah.
and so on.
Yeah.
Wildland fires. We're an ambulance department that does all of those other functions.
I was just gonna ask for a motion to adjourn, but I just thought of something. Cody and I and Jeff spent some time today with the website company that we've now contracted with. It looks like we might be done and have one by August, which is a lot faster than they thought. And some of the things that I saw from the developer who's gonna put it together and then give it to us to populate stuff, it's gonna look really good. And we'll have things like a calendar that will be on there. We can have a news page to put news items out, videos, and they can populate a video page. And then one of the things that's really that I didn't understand that it did until he told us, if we've got a news page, all we have to do is say share to Facebook. Instead of putting something on Facebook, it's gonna share it over, we do nothing. So it will, one of the things I think that can help us with our general public is to be before them with what we're doing in a consistent and a professional manner. And I think this will really go a long way to do that. So with that, any questions on that? Comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second that. All in favor? Thank you very much. You guys are great.
That was a quick one, Bob.
But I will eventually.